Archangel Michael says, you are not reading this by accident. There is urgency in the heavens, and the clock is counting down faster than you realize. What happened on July 12 was not just a transaction, it was a trap, and your person walked straight into it. Someone smiled when they signed that deal. But behind that smile was a cunning plan dressed in layers of lies and deceit. The paperwork carried more than just ink, it carried an intent that could ruin lives. You may not even know yet how deep this agreement runs. But your spirit has felt uneasy ever since that day. It wasn't just another event, it was a shift, a spiritual breach, and now your person is dangling at the edge of a pit. The enemy moved in silence and struck through charm. They targeted your person because of their light and because of their connection to you. But now, something unseen is tugging at their life path, and unless you step in with truth, they may be pulled in completely. Type Amen to get blessing 333. The danger is not in the paper, it's in what was promised. Your person agreed to something they thought was an opportunity. But what they didn't know is that a woman in that room whispered instructions to sabotage them later. Her presence was subtle, but her eyes were filled with jealousy. She watched your person closely for months, pretending to be a supporter. But she's the one who planted the idea for the deal, knowing what it would truly cost. Archangel Michael says, you must be aware of your person's silence now. They're hiding worry behind their strength. But deep inside, they feel trapped by something they can't fully explain. Type Amen to get blessing 714. The energy around them shifted drastically after July 12. People who used to call suddenly withdrew. A promotion that was about to happen went silent. Their phone began receiving strange calls from unknown numbers, and they started to have trouble sleeping. They've been feeling watched, and it's not paranoia. It's spiritual surveillance. A dark agreement was signed under the illusion of partnership. But it was actually a soul-binding exchange, and now the consequences are inching closer with every minute. You are being shown this message because you are the only one chosen to break this. You are spiritually tied to this person in a way they don't even understand. The moment you acknowledge this truth, a shift begins to undo what was done. Type Amen to get blessing 555. On July 12, in a private setting with a glass table and a silver pen, that woman smiled and said, "It's just standard procedure." But hidden beneath her table was a file with your name written on the back. This isn't just your person's battle, it's connected to you more than you know. Your person may have thought they were making a business move or stepping into a new opportunity. But behind the scenes, this was a calculated trap that would pull their energy into a loop of false obligations. They are now being watched for how they'll react. There are two men involved. One pretended to help with the deal. The other signed on behalf of a silent partner whose name no one dared to mention. That hidden name is the key to the curse, because that partner is tied to a past betrayal in your family. Archangel Michael says, the countdown is real. You have less than 10 minutes to awaken your full spiritual alertness. Any delay in recognizing this may result in a deeper entanglement that could take years to reverse. Type Amen to get blessing 828. Your person is starting to notice it too. Electronic devices around them are glitching. They're forgetting important things they normally wouldn't. There's a haze over their thoughts, and that's not a coincidence, it's the effect of a spiritual web that's tightening. The woman behind the deal works with an energy reader who charged the document before it was handed over. That energy was designed to manipulate timelines and seal fates. But what they didn't count on was you. You're not ordinary. You are a breaker of generational chains. And the moment your spirit aligns with this truth, their entire plan begins to tremble. Type Amen to get blessing 442. The truth they tried to hide is that your person is part of a bigger prophecy. They were supposed to walk into their elevation by the end of this month. But that deal was made to delay it, to lock them into cycles that dim their light. Your name was mentioned twice during the meeting, quietly, under breath. Someone asked, "What if they find out?" But they brushed it off. They believed you'd stay distracted and never look deeper. But Archangel Michael says, you are awakening now. And with each word you read, their lies lose power. Your awareness is becoming the sword that cuts through their illusion. Type Amen to get blessing 229. You need to tell your person to check their bank activity. There's a new account linked to their name that they never opened. The documents were forged using their ID, but someone else is operating it, draining energy and resources. This is not just fraud, it's spiritual theft. They're stealing not only what belongs to your person but the blessings meant for both of you. And unless you move swiftly, more doors will close. A red folder holds the original draft of that deal. It's locked in a drawer your person doesn't know exists. But the woman who arranged it visits that office daily, ensuring the truth stays buried. Type Amen to get blessing 600. There's also a voice recording, 17 minutes long. In it, your person hesitated and said, "This doesn't feel right." But they were convinced by false flattery and fear of missing out. That recording could be the evidence needed to overturn this. But time is slipping. They have planned a press announcement to finalize the deal spiritually. That event is scheduled exactly 10 minutes from when you open this message. Archangel Michael says, send light to your person now. Their energy needs a spiritual guard. Visualize a circle of divine fire around them and see the pen from that deal turning to ash. Type Amen to get blessing 377. The same woman has done this before. She targets souls that are meant to rise. She waits until they're vulnerable and then hands them a rope coated with honey, but tied with thorns underneath. She's not working alone. There's a silent network who gains when this person falls. They benefit from the dimming of chosen ones, and right now, your person is their main focus. But the light you carry is the only match strong enough to set the records on fire. You were born for this moment. What happens in the next few moments will either shift everything or seal a false reality. Type Amen to get blessing 119. The room they entered on July 12 had black and white curtains. The scent of lavender was used to confuse the spiritual senses. A ritual was performed 2 hours before your person arrived. They walked in thinking it was a signing. But it was a setup to bind them to silence and delay. Their throat chakra has been blocked since that day, they're struggling to express their truth. Archangel Michael says, you must remind them of who they were before this. Show them their old strength. When they remember, they'll begin to rise. Type Amen to get blessing 414. The next phase begins in 24 hours. If the false deal is not reversed before then, your person will lose an opportunity linked to a travel invitation. That trip was meant to connect them to a mentor who carries ancient light. But if they miss it, it may take months to find alignment again. That's why heaven shook you this very moment to open your eyes and receive this warning. You are the last key. The deal carries a hidden clause. That clause places blame on your person if anything goes wrong, even if they were unaware. It's designed to trap them in blame and delay. Type Amen to get blessing 901. Archangel Michael says, there's still time. But only for those bold enough to speak truth when silence is what the enemy expects. Your voice, your awareness, your energy is the disruption they never planned for. You must light a white candle and say their name out loud. Break the chain by declaring the truth over their life. Heaven will recognize the signal and begin to unwrite what was written. Your person trusts you even if they haven't said it. They're waiting for a sign, and this is it. Don't hold back. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Everything in the spirit world is now alert. A shift is happening because you are awakening. The agreement from July 12th is weakening with every breath of truth. Your person will notice the weight lift in their chest. A dream will come tonight showing the face of the woman behind the plot. Pay close attention, it's not someone unknown. You will receive a message within the next 3 hours confirming what this script has revealed. Trust it. Don't second-guess what your soul already knows. Type Amen to get blessing 642. This is your final window. If you delay now, you may have to battle longer to reclaim what's yours. But if you act now, heaven will send assistance in the form of a divine interruption. July 12th was the day of their setup. But today is the day of your spiritual awakening. You were meant to read this, meant to act, and meant to reclaim what's rightfully aligned for your destiny. Archangel Michael says, the woman who orchestrated the deal did not just target your person randomly. She has studied both of you. She knows the connection you share and feared what would happen if your person rose fully aligned beside you. She didn't just want the deal signed. She wanted to cut off the spiritual cord between you both. But she failed to understand one thing: divine soul bonds are not easily broken, especially when the light on both sides is still burning. She has tried to create distance. You may have felt tension without knowing why, or arguments that made no sense. That's not natural conflict. It's engineered chaos, woven through spiritual interference. Now you see it. Now you're awake. And the moment that happened, the light around your person began to pulse again with strength. Type Amen to get blessing 912. Your person might have dismissed some of the signs as stress. But the insomnia, the random dizziness, the confusion around small decisions, it all began right after July 12th. That's not coincidence. That's contract interference. This contract was spiritual first, physical second. Even if it looks like a harmless agreement on the surface, its energetic roots are darker and deeper. It pulls not only their power, but the blessings meant to multiply for you both. Someone placed a sigil under their chair during the signing. A mark of binding disguised as a logo. That symbol still carries energy that must be broken through intentional light intervention. Archangel Michael says this is no time to sit in doubt. It's the moment to rise in bold faith and spiritual protection. Delay favors your enemy, but action sets your timeline free. Type Amen to get blessing 311. A name was spoken during that meeting, your name. One man leaned in and whispered, "They won't even know what's happening." And everyone in the room smirked as if the outcome was already guaranteed. They thought you'd be too distracted. They thought your intuition wouldn't sound the alarm in time. But they underestimated the fire inside you, one that wakes when your person is in danger. Even now, as you absorb this message, their grip is weakening. That's why they may attempt one final push, a text, a call, or a sudden offer to draw your person deeper into the agreement. But do not let them fall again. Type Amen to get blessing 544. Your person is about to be tested. They will be offered a follow-up on that same deal. It will sound like a solution to all their problems, but it's not. It's the lock to seal the trap. You need to prepare them. Guide them to pause before signing or agreeing to anything this week. Let them know, without panic, that something is spiritually off and they must pray or sit in silence before moving. They don't know yet that this entire situation has your fingerprints spiritually on it too. The enemy used the bond you both share to access their energy. But now, that bond is becoming a shield instead of a doorway. Archangel Michael says, there's one more thing to reveal. But it must be spoken only after you've grounded yourself in truth and clarity. Type Amen to get blessing 717. There is an old friend of your person, someone from the past, who was pulled into this agreement unknowingly. This person has been manipulated to share private details about your person. That's how the enemy learned what to target. They offered this friend something in return. They were promised a favor, an opportunity, or a financial reward. But what they didn't realize is that they also signed themselves into an agreement that will drain their peace until they speak the truth. This friend will come forward. Watch for them within 7 days. They will appear distant, hesitant, unsure how to explain, but their eyes will give them away. Type Amen to get blessing 808. Archangel Michael says, you must forgive but not forget. Use discernment. This is not about rage, it's about revelation and redirection. You are being called to walk through this with awareness and spiritual sharpness. The timeline is moving. With every passing second, your voice is becoming louder in the spirit realm. The woman who started all this is already feeling the tremors. She won't be able to hide much longer. And when your person looks back, they will realize who stood for them in silence while they were being hunted in spiritual silence. That day is coming. The confession is coming. The reward is also coming. Type Amen to get blessing 606. July 12th was the attempt to take what wasn't theirs. But today, this moment, is the interception. You are the guardian chosen to step in, and the heavens are watching how you respond. There will be a dream, a flash, or a visual, a repeat of what happened during the signing. It will come to you. Don't dismiss it. That vision will help you decode what they tried to erase. In the next 4 hours, your spirit will receive strength. It may come as calm, a download of insight, or a sharp memory returning. Use that to break every tie linked to this deal. Type Amen to get blessing 313. Archangel Michael says, speak these words aloud: I reject every false agreement made in deception. I return it to the sender, and I reclaim every blessing lost. Say it 3 times, and mark the time when you do. That moment will be remembered in spirit. This message is not only about warning, it's about reversal. You have the authority to turn what they meant for evil into the start of your elevation. Use it with grace, but use it without delay. Your name will be restored. Your person will rise again. And that contract? It will burn in the realm it came from. It has no power unless you stay silent. Type Amen to get blessing 222. Now is the time to speak. Now is the time to shield. Now is the time to stand between your person and the trap they unknowingly stepped into. They trusted someone who smiled with betrayal in their heart. They believed someone who was practicing manipulation in silence. But their soul cried out. And heaven heard. And you were sent this message not to panic, but to act. Let the woman behind this feel the tremble of your fire. Let her see that spiritual justice always arrives. And when it does, nothing can stop it, not even signed deals made in silence. Type Amen to get blessing 808. Archangel Michael says, you are not alone in this. There is divine backup. Call on it. Stand in it. Don't wait for permission, your spirit already knows what must be done. Your person is strong, but right now, they need the part of you that remembers who you were before any of this happened. The version of you that was never afraid to rise. Let this be the day their destiny is reclaimed. Let this be the hour the false power loses its grip. Let this be the message that changed everything for you both. And let them remember, someone loved them enough to break the silence and step into the battle no one else even saw. Archangel Michael says, the moment you chose to keep reading, you disrupted a pattern that was designed to trap not only your person, but also generations after them. This was not just about a single deal, this was about legacy. The enemy knows that if your person rises beside you, the ripple effect will shatter spiritual limitations that have held others bound for decades. July 12 was picked for a reason. The planetary alignment that day had spiritual importance, an open gate of destiny. But that woman and her silent partners used it to hijack what should have been an elevation. The room was staged. The conversation was rehearsed. And your person, unknowing and kind-hearted, walked in with trust, unaware that they were the target of envy masked as professionalism. They didn't just sign a document, they were tricked into signing a delay, disguised as a door of opportunity. Type Amen to get blessing 525. But here's what they don't know, your voice can undo what was sealed. The final spiritual stamp is not complete until one more thing happens. A second meeting was scheduled secretly. If your person shows up to that location, they will unknowingly cement what was meant to stay temporary. You must intercept. Not in fear, but in power. A message, a call, even a sudden conversation, however you're guided, don't delay. The next 24 hours are filled with divine instruction, and it begins with you. You carry the frequency that repels deceit. That's why they tried to disconnect you too. But your connection was heaven-designed, and not even forged contracts can override what God ordained. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, at exactly 7:17 p.m., your person will receive another message. Tied to this deal. You may not see it, but the energy will hit their space like a cold wave. Be spiritually alert at that moment. Speak light, claim reversal, declare freedom. If they walk into that message unaware, confusion will increase. But if they're covered in your truth, that confusion will bounce off. That's how powerful your role in this moment is. You are not just reading, you are activating a divine protocol. What you choose to do now becomes a turning point. Type Amen to get blessing 404. The woman who orchestrated this is not just in business. She's tied to an old bloodline of manipulation. She uses charm, flattery, and timing. Her success has always come by placing others in her shadows while she thrives off their lost potential. She saw your person's glow. She heard your name once before. She researched, and waited, and pounced when they were in a moment of vulnerability. But your person's spirit never agreed with the deception, and that's why there's still a way out. Their inner being is rejecting what was signed. That's why they're uneasy, restless, doubting the very people they once trusted. Type Amen to get blessing 122. Your role now is to remind them who they were before July 12, show them something from their past, an image, a message, a memory, that will wake their true essence again. This will break the mental fog. Do not tell them everything at once. Instead, feed their light gently. Speak to their soul, not their fear. Let your words carry frequency, not panic. Archangel Michael says, there is one final move the enemy is hoping you won't see. But you are about to uncover it. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The deal has a hidden attachment. It's buried within a clause that was never spoken aloud but included in the digital backup files. This clause gives that woman's team the right to use your person's name in a future deal that may involve spiritual currency. This is not just theft. It's preparation for an energy transfer, where they gain wealth and power using the vibration of your person's agreement, without their full awareness. But that transfer is not yet activated. It is pending. It can still be blocked. You were spiritually summoned to see this truth in time. And now that you know, it must be you who speaks against it. Type Amen to get blessing 111. Say this aloud, every hidden clause made without consent is now null and void. My voice dismantles what was forged in secrecy. I reclaim the spiritual authority of my connection. Once you say it, you'll feel a shift. Your heartbeat may quicken, or your hands may tingle. That's the energy moving. That's the reversal beginning. Archangel Michael says, your authority was never in titles or status. It was in your spirit, and today, your spirit stood up. Type Amen to get blessing 313. You will soon hear confirmation. A message will come from someone unexpectedly apologizing for a delay. A technical error. A missing file. That will be the physical sign that the energy has been disrupted. Don't let your person feel alone through this. Even if you can't explain everything, let them feel supported. That alone can be enough to nudge them back toward truth and safety. They may resist at first, but their soul will recognize your energy. It always has. Type Amen to get blessing 666. On July 12th, they walked into a deal meant to bury their voice. Today, you've pulled the veil back. What happens next will depend on your courage, your willingness to speak, and your decision to walk in spiritual alignment. You were never meant to be silent. You were born to interrupt deception. And right now, you're doing exactly that. Let July 17th be the date of reversal. Let it be remembered as the day that changed everything. Type Amen to get blessing 888. Archangel Michael says, this battle is already shifting in your favor. Keep your thoughts clear. Stay away from distractions for the next 3 hours. Be alert to signs, messages, faces that reappear. Some people will suddenly reach out. Some will try to act like nothing ever happened. Watch with discernment. Don't react emotionally, observe spiritually. A door is closing on what they tried to steal. And a new one is opening because you dared to show